What's up, world? Welcome back to the Big City Gardener YouTube channel. I'm your host, Timothy Hammond, the Big City Gardener, and here on this channel, it is my goal to make sure that everybody feels comfortable gardening wherever they are, whether you're in a sprawling suburban homestead or in the heart of the city like I am. Fall is a fantastic time to get started gardening, so whether you're a brand new gardener or an experienced gardener, if you're growing these 10 crops in your garden, then you're guaranteed to have a bountiful harvest this fall. First crop is lettuce. Look, no fall garden is complete without lettuce, and that's because it's one of the easiest crops to grow and it loves cool temperatures. All you need to do is sprinkle these seeds directly on top of the soil and cover them up with a little bit of compost, and make sure you keep the soil moist until you see the seeds sprout. Once the seeds sprout, you're gonna make sure that you water them every other day. One of the reasons I love fall lettuce is because there are so many different varieties that you can grow. From leaf lettuce to bib lettuce to head lettuce, the choices are endless. So make sure that lettuce is one of the crops that you plant in your fall garden this year. The second crop that you need to make sure you're planting this fall is spinach. Spinach is a nutrient-dense crop that loves cooler temperatures. And like other leafy greens, it's extremely easy to grow. So whether you're eating it raw in salads or cooking it down on the stove, from seed to harvest, you're looking at about 6 weeks with spinach. Just make sure you give those seedlings and newly planted plants plenty of water and you're good to go. The third crop you need to make sure you're planting this fall are radishes. Radishes are often forgotten when it comes to gardening, and I don't know why. Look, there's not very many other crops that you can plant and 4 weeks later, you're ready to harvest. Whether you're eating these radishes fresh or you're pickling them, they're a great addition to any fall garden, especially for the beginning gardener. Now, when it comes to planting radishes, you're gonna wanna make sure that you get the seeds deep enough in the soil to where they're able to emerge, but not so shallow to where they don't form the large bulbous roots that we're looking for. And whatever you do, make sure you thin your radishes once the seeds sprout. Now the fourth crop that you need to make sure you plant in your fall garden is kale. In my opinion, kale grows best in the fall. And one thing I love about it is that it will continue to produce throughout the winter and even into the spring, as long as you harvest the leaves. Now, just like with spinach, you can eat kale raw or you can cook it down. The choice is yours. But whatever you do, make sure that you don't plant a fall garden without kale. Whether you're planting it in a raised bed, in a container, or in ground, kale is a versatile crop that every fall garden needs. Now carrots might seem a little tricky to grow, but here's a few tips for you. One, make sure that you remove all the debris from the soil and that the soil is loose and worked through. That way, the roots of the carrots are able to dig down deep into the soil without running into any interference. You want to plant your carrots in a well-drained area. Waterlogged soil tends to stop the carrots from germinating, and if they manage to germinate, waterlogged soil and carrots just don't mix. Now, when it comes to growing carrots, you're going to want to make sure that you directly seed these seeds into your garden bed. And number 5 is carrots. Now carrots might seem a little tricky, but here's some tips to help you grow some of the best carrots of your life. 1, you're going to want to work the soil. And by that, I mean remove any debris like rocks, big stems, or branches from the soil. That way, the roots are able to grow without any interference. 2, you're going to want to make sure that you keep the seeds moist until they sprout. Look, carrots do not like to be transplanted, so they're one of those crops that you're going to have to directly sow into the garden. And once you sow the seeds, make sure you water it daily. Here's a tip. You can cover your freshly seeded area with cardboard or burlap sack, and that will help to retain the moisture in the soil. Now carrots take about 70 days from seed to harvest. So it's another fall crop that you can get in August or September and harvest well before the winter gets here. And number 6, we have beets. Now in my mind, beets are synonymous with fall gardening. Maybe it's the colors, Maybe it's the fact that they germinate best when the temperatures are around 70 degrees, or maybe it's because I grow my best beets in the fall. But regardless of the reason, if you're not growing beets in your fall garden, then you're missing out on one of the easiest root crops that you can possibly grow. They're beginner friendly, and you can eat the root or the leaves. And did I mention that there are many different colors and varieties of beets that you can grow? So head over to your local nursery or grab your favorite seed catalog and find some beets to throw into your fall garden like I'm doing here. At number 7, we have turnips. Now, in all fairness, I'm not the biggest turnip fan out there. As a matter of fact, I really prefer the turnip greens more than I actually like the root. But turnips are another beginner-friendly option that you should add to your fall garden. Not only can you eat the greens and the roots, but they store extremely well. So that means you'll be able to grow turnips throughout the fall and enjoy them throughout the winter and into the spring. Now what's better than that? Number 8, we have Swiss chard, another leafy green. So if you haven't figured it out by now, let me just go ahead and tell you. Fall time is the best time to grow your leafy greens like Swiss chard or your root crops like beets and radishes and turnips. Now, Swiss chard is one of the most beautiful leafy greens that you can grow. You can grow my favorite variety, which is this dark green variety called the Ford Hook Giant, or you can grow the variety called Bright Lights or Neon Lights, where the stems will be all different shades of yellow, orange, and pink. Regardless of which variety you choose to grow, you'll end up growing a super hardy, super nutrient dense leafy green that will continue to produce all the way until the spring. At number 9, we have broccoli. Look, no fall garden is complete without broccoli. Now, if you're an urban gardener with a limited amount of space, you may want to plant your broccoli in a container or in a raised bed all to itself. Why? 1, they take up a lot of space. 2, they take up a lot of nutrients. And 3, well, they're in the ground pretty much the entire fall. Broccoli takes between 70 to 110 days to harvest. So if you're gonna plant it in your urban garden, make sure you allocate for the amount of time that it will spend in the garden bed. If you're big on crop turnover like I am, then you're gonna wanna make sure that you plant your broccoli in a container. And last but not least, are green onions or scallions. Look, if you're looking for something that's foolproof, this is it right here. Simply plant your green onions in a sunny spot and you'll be able to harvest them whenever you're making a dish. Now, if you're lucky enough to live somewhere with a great feed store or a great nursery, then maybe you'll be able to find these. These are perennial onions, also known as Egyptian multiplying onions. I plant these once in the garden, and these bulbs will continue to spread until they naturalize this entire area. And there you have it, 10 of the easiest crops that you can grow this fall, whether you're a beginner gardener or an experienced gardener like myself. Whether you're growing in a balcony or in a suburban homestead, it doesn't matter. All 10 of these crops will work for you. Now that the fall's here and the cooler weather's rolling around, we have no excuse to not get outside, put our hands in the dirt, and just grow it. Look, if you found this video informative or you enjoyed it, you know what I need you to do. Like it, subscribe it, all that good stuff. Until next time, it's Timothy Hammond, the Big City Gardener, and I'm out of here, man. I gotta go plant some plants. Peace.